Coming in at only 2,930 pounds, as seen here, the Apex 185BH here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan, is an ideal, well-built, lightweight, AZDEL laminated family camper. If what you're looking for is that, that small towing, high reliability, fun camping, lightweight experience, this is certainly one that fits the bill and should be on your short list. And there are a couple recurring trends that always come to mind for me every time I look at a new Apex. And the first is small camping done right. They are very good at, they're one of the best I've ever seen, frankly, at small RVs, intelligent appointments, excellent execution. Like they never, well, the other thing is, and this kind of ties into that, is that they are simple where they should be, but fancy where they could be. And that's a hard thing to kind of wrap your head around. Because it seems like brands either want to be on one end of the spectrum or the other. And Apex is really smart about picking and choosing the features they put in their RV to give you a great, simple, smart, well-built small camping experience. Like we have an all aluminum skeleton here, and a lot of lamination involved in this product, like laminated sidewalls, roof, and floor. And one of the cool things that allows for us is that it does allow for a vaulted ceiling right here. So even at 6'3", I can walk around anywhere in this RV worry-free and not worry about hitting my head because I don't have a reduced interior height. They have a full 6.5-foot sidewall plus the 2.5-inch mini vault, which makes this little camper look and feel not so little. The very modern color palette and styling they have in here is also very sharp. And I like how they break up the monotony of otherwise flat wood tone inserts or paneling with the frosted glass inserts on these. Now this stereo right here, this is Bluetooth. We'll come back to this later, but it's a simple entertainment system for a more simple camper. If you want to expand your entertainment, you do have hookups against the wall over here where you could very easily do that. Now you might note too, they have full overhead storage above this bed, and that's a legit cabinet with some very serious storage capacity up there. A lot of times when you get these bullet nose, these sweep nose trailers, if you see an overhead cabinet, it's kind of a joke. It's like, yeah, it's a cabinet door, but it's not really a cabinet behind it. Well, this one is. Another intelligent feature is the headboard here in front of the bed. And it's got a neat little storage pocket inside. It gives you a neat little spot to like keep your phone stored, or if you need to, put a CPAP machine above that right there so that you, you can breathe easy at night. Now, a couple other handy little things going on here. The lighting, it's all LED. So if you are boondocking, this is a great boondock camper. It will sip your battery reserve instead of gulp it. You also have bigger holding tanks than most things in this class at 30-30-30, fresh, gray, and black, to give you a greater boondock capacity, or just less time between tank dumps at a park. Now, whether it's the tabletop or the kitchen countertop right here, we have sealed edge press membrane counters. What that means, guys, is a little more water reserve, water protection and prevention. Sorry if I seem distracted. People are kind of like rapid fire texting me, and I'm in the middle of a video, and I'm having trouble keeping my focus, apparently. So let me rezone in here for a second. So, handy little couples dining experience, or if you have a couple littles with you. One of the other key differences here is this is a 7.5 wide body, not a 7 wide camper. And that extra 6 inches, where you can really note that, is that it makes the dinette just big enough that one adult and one kid can sit on each side of the bed, instead of this being an only 2 adult seating area. And that, I think, is one of those really key clutch differences here between this Apex and so many other things. And if you need that extra fifth person sleeping capacity, if the kids bring a friend, or if you do have a family of 5 in a small camper, maybe you got a couple kids and a couple big dogs or something, you can always fold down the dinette to really squeeze every ounce of juice out of this one right here, because she is a sweet tasting fruit. But my wife says I'm just a weird tasting fruit, but I digress. You'll also find additional storage below that booth seating. It's kind of just one of those, not an ounce of space gone to waste moments where they're very good about utilizing everything they can. Now you'll notice over here, next to the wheel well, there's like a little bit of wiring and whatnot running under that. That's part of why they put this little sort of vertical Luan shield here, just to kind of give you a visual barrier as to where you should kind of stop loading cargo. A lot of brands will actually just screw down a wooden top on that to make you waste the entire section. They at least gave you like a neat little storage trunk over here. They gave you whatever they could. Now, up top here, one quick note on all the cabinetry we've looked at, by the way. These are all hardwood cabinet door frames, and it is all pocket screwed together. This is a small camper. It's a very price-sensitive camper, but it's an intelligently built, well-constructed camper. Apex service records at Haylett RV are way up there, meaning they are fantastic, and we don't seem to see these things come back with service. They're built smart, they're built small, they're built right. It's small camping done right. That should absolutely be their mantra down there. The stereo here, you can get the J Control app on your phone. You can Bluetooth link to this thing, and basically you can control this whole thing from your phone, which is pretty darn handy. Now, over here, our bunks, our top bunk does have a 200-pound rating, but given the size of the bunk, that seems very appropriate. The bottom bunk is, very few manufacturers ever put a load rating sticker on their bottom bunks because they really don't need to. There's so much more construction under them that they just organically hold enough weight that unless you're loading bags of concrete mixed into it, it should not be a problem. I also like that you get this handy breeze window here, and that does also have its own pleated night privacy shade. Now we can kind of finish things up back here in the bathroom, and this is an area that they did a couple small things very well to make this bathroom very effective, and that's what the whole camper is, where every single room, every single area, every single thing, they looked at it, they analyzed it, they identified it, they said, okay, what are the things that we absolutely need to do? And then we're going to build everything right, but we're not going to overdo it, we're not going to make this thing more expensive than it has to be, but we're going to make it a very high quality product. Things like you have an easier foot flush stool with good leg room here. But as you look up, you see that handy little towel rack, which is nice, but a medicine cabinet in the bathroom of a small camper is something that is often missing or lacking. Now, we also have both a power vent fan as well as a skylight above this tub shower combo, so that you do get good organic lighting in here. Once again, if you're boondocking, that extra light is another one of those things that helps you avoid burning off, your battery reserve, because that's a precious resource when you are off the grid. Now from here I want to zero in on the kitchen because there's a couple key things here. First of all, I love the fact that they didn't waste the space above the refrigerator. They opened it up, they gave you a storage compartment, and they closed it off with a door so that if you put stuff up there it doesn't fall down in transit. Now here is a really important distinctive feature. A full 6 cubic foot fridge and freezer in a single axle mini camper. And that is a rare find. There are not a lot of brands doing that because again, most of the time when we're in a small classic camper, everyone's worried about being as cheap as possible. And these Apexes are certainly not the most expensive, but they're also not the least expensive. Again, they're very smart in their equipment and their appointments. Now, you might note that there's no microwave overhead. That's because if we look down here below that sealed countertop, we see that they put the microwave below the stove in the location you would expect to find an oven. So it's very intelligent, organic. It makes a lot of sense how they put this together. Also, this is a bunkhouse. You got small kids running around, and anytime the kids can be a little more self-sufficient instead of relying on you to do every single thing for them is really nice. So when they can get to their own little cooking thing for some minor stuff, it's very handy for mom and dad's comfort, enjoyment, and peace of mind. Now remember, part of the idea behind this camper being so small, a lot of people like to do boondock off-grid camping with these, which is why they do a big little sink combination. Now, first of all, in mini campers, single axles, a lot of times you get one sink basin, and usually it's only that big. So the fact that they don't exactly match doesn't bother me. The other thing is I like that they don't match because if you're at a park and you have more water available, you can use the big sink and have a good time. If you're out of a park though and you're using your freshwater holding tank, you're gonna probably be using the little sink once again to sip your tank, not gulp your tank. And then down below here, they gave you every ounce of open storage capacity they probably could. Now, if you've got a really good Eagle Eye, and by the way, an outlet where you can get to it real easy, nice touch. If you got an Eagle Eye, you look above the stovetop, and you see that there is not a stovetop vent hood there. That's not an accident. They didn't forget that. They didn't cut that corner. Remember, everything on this has been intelligently designed. Why would they skip that? So the question is, well then, smart guy, what did they do? And you actually need to look up here. So this is doubling as both a skylight as well as a kitchen heat exhaust vent. But it's not just a vent, it's also a power fan. And this fan actually pushes or pulls rather more air than the little stovetop vent hood possibly could anyway. And it will also double as getting extra cross breeze in from the side windows. So you have 2 ceiling power vent fans here to keep some decent airflow going. Once again, a very, very handy, intelligently designed boondock feature, and a big full-size air conditioner keeping you comfortable when you are in the parks. Quick note outside, there is this thing called the Summit package, which you find on most of our Apexes actually, that adds a beautiful 3/4 nose cap and front windshield. So the question is, why didn't we put it here? And what we have really found from a lot of consumer feedback is that in the no slide Apex Nanos, people are being a little more weight and cost sensitive and conscious. And adding that nose cap, the extra weight from the nose cap and the extra cost of the Summit package kind of puts us at a spot where people are a little less comfortable buying and towing it. So this is a little more price sensitive thing, and we do want to kind of reflect that as well. But of course we can get you one built however you want if the one that we have in stock doesn't work for you. So also keep in mind, just because this is how it looks in the video doesn't mean that this is exactly how it looks here at Haylett RV. This is just a video example, guys. Double check our website. There's a link in the video description. You can call our team to verify exactly what we have on hand for you at any time. Now up front here, the storage capacity in this front pass-through is enormous. One of the benefits of a front east-west bed is that it gives you a huge pass-through compartment, and you see that Apex also helps us by giving us bigger, wider doors on both sides to get in there. So you've got a handy solar quick connect here. You want to keep a solar portable panel in here, and totes and chairs and one of the kids, because you know they're acting up today. Ever notice that when your kids are acting up, it's just because they're tired or they're hungry? But when someone else's kids act up, it's because they're terrible parents. Am I right? Can we all admit that that's a shared experience that we have? So remember, again, this is narrow body, but it's not a 7 wide. It's a 7.5 wide. And that's a key distinction because, again, it gives you the ability to have mom on one side of the dinette, dad on the other, and one kid next to each of you, and still fit within this dinette, while still giving us less headwind and easier side lane visibility from a non-8-foot wide camper. It's a really smart blend of the narrow body and standard body features that it's just enough that it works very well right here. We do have front and rear corner stabilizer jacks, and I want to point that out because when you get into the single axle market, the really cutthroat dollar cheaper stuff will sometimes cut out front stabilizer jacks, and that to me is just asinine, but it's true. But here at even the most basic, this is the most basic camper Apex possibly makes, we still have nicer sealed protected piano hinges, and that is there to help keep water from damaging like water that runs down the trailer, especially in spring and fall when it kind of freezes. It'll keep it from springing that hinge there so it doesn't go screech. All the windows are airflow windows, and they all are tinted as well to keep the sun out of there. And I love this little pocket right here. This pocket right here next to your full centralized hookup station, it's perfect for like water, cable, hoses, totes, things like that. But please, please keep your sewer and freshwater hoses separate, guys. And they kind of did you a favor here because little campers don't usually have, or always have rather, some do, some don't, full bumpers capable of sewer hose storage. This one does. They're also giving you a better Camco squeezing end cap on this so that those end caps don't tend to blow off in transit, because that's a common thing. Now, again, this is a 7.5 wide camper that weighs the same as a 7 wide camper. That 6 extra inches times about 19 foot of floor space, that adds up. This thing should be heavier. This thing should be about 3,050 pounds or more, but it's not. Why? And the answer is two things. One, they're using a lot of ultralite methodology with their laminated aluminum skeleton. The other thing, though, is AZDEL. It's a wood substitute material under the fiberglass of the sidewalls that is lighter weight. The material itself cannot rot, mold, or mildew. It also has a little bit better heat resistance. It's a little more sound dampening, so if your kids are screaming up a bloody murder storm inside, you won't necessarily be waking up the neighbors. And that's one of the key things Coachmen Ultralite family of RVs do to keep their weight in check while giving you a bigger camping experience. Another thing they do well here is give you every ounce of awning they really possibly could. They could have made the awning a little bit bigger, but they would have had to crush the bedroom crossbreeze window and the baggage door up front to do that. And I don't think anybody wants to see that happen, so I think they made the right call. There's a couple cool things going on. The awning is power, so push button, Easy operation. It does have tilt and lock awning arms that are very simple to operate, and it also has an auto rain dump feature in case you just don't even feel like messing with that. You also have two sources of outside lighting, which is very neat. You have both full-length LED lighting at the base of the awning, which is white to give you a nice bright camping experience. Then you have these neat little blue accent lights, which I think really work very nicely with the sidewall of the RV here in the total color palette that they have to give you a fun experience. Now, usually single axle stuff like this, you're going to get the cheaper small plastic handle, not the nice extended handle. You're going to get single steps, not double steps like an Apex. Again, this is small camping done right, and it is simple where it could be, fancy where it should be. Change my mind. I think these guys are doing an ace job, and their service records are nearly second to none. They have done such a good job putting together a very quality product that I just don't know if I could be much happier with them. And their growth in the marketplace the last couple of years shows that we are not the only dealership experiencing that. This is a brand that people buy with confidence, and it stays in their driveway and doesn't come back to a dealership for service. And I think that's something that we can all get behind. So, we don't do hidden dealer fees, but we do everything else, like hitching, pieces, parts, trades, finance, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, and everything in between. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.